But behind the church's high celebrity profile and pious exterior lies a leadership at war with its real and perceived enemies.
Scientology believes this woman, Maureen Bolstad, is one of the worst people in the world. She is one of a few to be declared a suppressive person. Scientology founder L. Ron Hubbard declared so-called suppressive people cannot be granted the rights ordinarily accorded rational beings. Her crime? Talking to the media about the church.
Overseas, the church is facing criticism from disillusioned and bitter followers.
That was a private investigator. He's been following us all night long.
In recent months, a storm has erupted around Scientology. In Australia and overseas, the church stands accused of breaking the law and destroying families.
What specifically what you're referring to is if somebody is expelled from the church, anybody who insists on continuing to be connected to somebody who's been expelled from the church would be told that as long as they maintain that connection, they're not welcome in the church.
Somebody watching this might say, why can't you just walk out the door? Why can't you get in your car and drive away?
You can if you really want to, but what happens is that you can then be considered a suppressive person for just walking out the door and not going through the steps that they require you to go.
I cannot find the words to express the damage that has been done to me by this organisation.
We can't any longer sustain knowledge that there are abuses happening within the church.
That scared the living daylights out of me when I saw how she reacted to being questioned about critical things to do with Scientology.
Christine says the church has cut her off from her family.
They have to make a choice between their daughter or, you know, their eternity, or what they think is their eternity as far as their salvation goes, spiritually.
Spokesman Tommy Davis says the church denies interfering in her family, but does say members are taught to cut contact with so-called suppressives, people who viciously attack the church.
You either kiss Scientology or you're done. And I couldn't do that. To me, it was the most evil outfit I ever saw in my life. All I could read about was that it broke up families. It didn't keep families together like religion is supposed to do. It broke them up.
You were supposed to disconnect yourself from that person. And Jenna Miscavige Hill, who is a niece of the church's leader, David Miscavige, says that happened to her, which is the reason she left the church a couple of years ago. And she now has a website bringing together former members of the Church of Scientology to talk about issues like this.
Well, and first of all, this is a perfect example of how the internet turns things and twists things. There's no such thing as disconnection as you're characterizing it, and certainly you have to understand.
Oh my God, here's what they did. They already had me declared a suppressive person. They told everyone else, including my children. I cried. I was sad, you know, it's my kids. But you don't do that to a parent. You don't do that.
Look, she's a beautiful girl. I mean, I just, and she's mine. I don't know. They can't take the parent away. They'll try.
Been many times I've seen her just so distraught at the fact that she can't have contact with her daughter.
Noch im gleichen Jahr heiratet von Rönn seine Freundin. Dann kommt der zweite Sohn zur Welt. Ein junges Familienglück in Scientology.
Yeah. Ah, what made you leave?
There was a lot of things. First thing was that they separated me from my father when I was 15.
Did he try to leave?
No, he did something that they didn't consider was right, so they kicked him out. And then my mom died when I was 16, so they like handed me over to guardians within their church.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And then when I was 18, they separated me from my husband. And I was like, fuck this, I'm out, you know.
John, child labor and coerced abortions. It's a chilling inside account of what a growing number of former Scientologists are saying actually happens inside their local headquarters.
Both Dave and I have not spoken to family members for me, for about 3.5 years. And Dave?
For me, it's been since August of 2000 that they haven't spoken to me and have rebuffed all efforts that I've made to speak to them.
Declare me a suppressive person for giving my life for those who lost their families. Declare me fair game for denying you any reason to destroy any more lives. And stalk me. Strike me down now if I am wrong and misled. I am the disconnected son you hoped would never speak out. I am the disconnected son you thought you destroyed forever. I am the disconnected son who's your worst fucking nightmare.
In the 1980s, joined the Church of Scientology in South Africa. I last saw her in 1989. I saw pictures of her from 1994. I haven't heard from her since.
Have you had a disconnect letter or anything?
My dad did. My dad to the kids.
It was the scariest thing I've ever done. I can tell you right now, leaving is the scariest thing I've ever done in my entire life.
But even after she left the Sea organization, Amy still wanted to remain in good standing with the church so she wouldn't be labeled a suppressive person or an SP.
A suppressive person is basically somebody who is bent on doing total destruction. They don't want any good to happen. When I left, I had no intention of being labeled a suppressive person.
That's because Amy's entire family is still actively involved in Scientology, and it's against the rules for Scientologists to communicate with SPs.
Long story short, I lost my father. He's disowned me because I haven't seen him or spoken to him in 2 years.
Innocent children are being brainwashed. My son is 7 years old. His father is determined to brainwash him.
If I may just interrupt for a moment, you realize there's a little bit of a problem in getting people to talk critically about the Church of Scientology, because quite frankly, they're scared.
To get me to introvert and think about what I've been doing wrong as to why I wanted to leave. But the reason I wanted to leave was because the sleep deprivation was killing me. I wasn't being allowed to visit my family. I wasn't getting paid for my work. And I said, look, this is abusive. I can't do this. I mean, physically, I couldn't do it anymore.
I was disconnected from my father out of this org. I have my disconnection letter in my pocket.
They said, so, like, have you met an SP?
Now, Jenna fears she'll be labeled a dreaded SP, or suppressive person. Tom Cruise talks dismissively of SPs in this video circulating on the internet.
Maybe one day it will be that, wow, SPs, like, they'll just read about those in the history books, you know?
Thing that would be real to someone? First, let me say one more thing about the disconnect. Sure. So anyways, that's what my brother ended up doing, is I'm supposed to be a suppressive person, and I'm supposed to be causing him problems, or PTS, either way, which is what suppressive people supposedly cause you to be. And so he thought that his failures in his own life were because of me, because of my connection to my dad. And so he disconnected from me. In the actual conversation where he did, I didn't let him. I said, get the fuck out of here.
Isn't that just to me, it's the most tragic thing Scientology does, is breaks up families. Like, here's your own brother, your own blood brother, who won't talk to you over a quote-unquote church.
I mean, people would say, why can't you just walk away? But I have my mom, I have my brother, and I have my sister, and my grandma, and the steer. If I just walked away, they'd never ever speak to me again.